Hey, this is Dan from Tiny Home Builders. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a listing on the tiny house marketplace. So the first step is to go to tinyhomebuilders.com, and then you're going to want to get to the marketplace. So click on the tiny house marketplace link at the top left corner of the window. And then once you're there, you're going to click on this sell your tiny house. So that's how you're going to create a listing. And then you need to either log in if you already have an account or create an account. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and create an account. I'm going to enter my email address, a display name. This shows up in some places where we don't want to show your actual email address so that you don't get spammed. We'll show your display name. The next is for people that are entering a listing on the tiny house map. So this may not apply to you, but this allows people to contact you directly from the map. I'm going to go ahead and click yes here, but if you're just listing a listing on the tiny house marketplace, it doesn't matter what you click here. Enter your password. All right, and then click submit. All right, so now we have an account and we're logged in. It's time to actually create our listing. So we're at it automatically forwards us onto the create a listing page. The first option here is the title. We're gonna wanna put something in there that grabs people, that makes them interested or describes the house in a little bit. So our house is called the Tiny Living Design. I'm just gonna enter that in. Next, we've got a description. I've got a description here to put in. Next, we select the features. Now, these are the features that your house has, not features that it could potentially have. You don't want to put things that and deceive anybody and make them think that it has a wood stove when in reality it could just potentially have a wood stove. Any house could potentially have a wood stove. So we're going to just select a few here: sleeping loft, laundry. Next, we enter the price. People will very frequently ask us what they should set their price as. What I recommend they do is go to the tiny house marketplace, enter in as much details into the search as you can that matches your house, and then you'll get back a bunch of houses that are similar to yours, and you can kind of get a gauge what the selling price for houses are going right now, and that can give you a little bit of a starting point. Next, we've got our price tag. This is a little description that gets appended to the end of the price. So if you reduce the price or you're only willing to accept cash or different things, you can add that on. This is completely optional. I'm gonna go ahead and put firm in there just so that that people don't try to negotiate. We select the house type, tiny house on a trailer. We're gonna list this house for sale, not for rent. Select the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the year that it's built, the square footage, and if it includes land or not. This is just a house, no land. Next, we've got an area to enter in our photos and videos. Now, photos is the most important part of your listing. The higher quality photos, the houses that have higher quality photos and the higher number of photos sell dramatically faster than houses that have low quality photos. So if you are not a good photographer, I would highly recommend hiring a professional photographer, because they're just going to be able to capture the quality and the details of your house a lot better than perhaps you might be able to. So definitely photos sell houses. And so we want to have high quality photos, and we also want to have larger photos. So in here in the hints that it has for your photos, it says it should be at least 1200 pixels wide. Sometimes people upload pictures that might look high quality, but then they're extremely small, and it just doesn't, it's very hard to capture the quality of the house in a really small photo. So high quality, larger format photos. The primary photo also should be horizontal. Now we will display vertical photos or photos that are in horizontal orientation in your listing page, but the primary photo is shown in various places throughout the website, and in those places it's always in a horizontal orientation. So if you upload a vertical picture, a vertical photo, then the tops and the bottoms will get cut off, and it may not get cut off in an area that you want it to get cut off, so it may not capture, it may not display as well as a horizontal photo. So we highly recommend your first photo being horizontal. And then do not upload screenshots of the house. Sometimes people will pull up a picture of the house, take a screenshot from their phone, and then submit that. That's just ends up looking like a really low quality, because it will generally have black bars around it. So make sure you use original, high quality, large format photos. So I'm going to go ahead and drag in a picture of one of our houses here. And we have the option to enter a video URL. Now in the listing, your photos will display in a gallery where people can rotate through the pictures. If you have a a video uploaded to YouTube, you can post the link in this spot right here. And then when users are going through the gallery, the last picture will actually be a link or an embedded video of your house. So it's a nice way for someone to get a little bit more of a feel from your house than pictures, and it's right there built into the gallery. So you'd enter that link here. I do not have one of those, so I'm gonna skip this. Now we've got the location. I'm gonna select my state, Georgia. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and skip the street. We don't need the street. Then we've got two options here for checkboxes. The first one is that you've read and agree to follow the tiny house listing policy. This is incredibly important. Almost every house, every listing that gets rejected is because they haven't followed something that's in the listing policy. It's not very long, it's not very big to read, but it tells you the rules. So definitely read that, and confirm that you've read it, because your listing will get published a lot faster if you just follow, a few simple rules. The next checkbox here is that you consent to sharing. This is completely optional, but what will happen occasionally is that a writer for a large publication will be looking at the tiny house marketplace, and they will see some houses that are very attractive, and they'll want to share those to their readership, and that will bring in a lot of traffic to your listing and get you a lot more exposure. But in the past, we don't want to allow a third party to use your photos without your consent. And so what we've done is we've reached out to the individual posters to ask them, hey, do we have permission to pass on your photos? Let this person use your photos. In exchange, they will send you a lot of traffic. Well, to make that a little bit more streamlined, we've just added a checkbox here. Again, completely optional, but we recommend it because it will drive a lot more traffic to your listing. All right, before we hit next, we've got this little note here to avoid scams. If you're selling something on the internet, just like all websites where you can sell something on the internet, you want to make sure that you're following common sense when you're dealing with people. Don't accept money from someone who hasn't seen the house. Know that money orders and certified checks are not guaranteed. So just use some common sense that you'd use anywhere else. This is just a little reminder that this website is no different. All right, clicking next. We get to an area where we get to review our listing. So you just want to go through here and check to make sure that all of the details that you specified are accurate. Just one last little check. This is not exactly what the listing will look like, because right now on this page, there is no personally identifying information. So we don't have your address. We don't have a map. We don't have a way for you to contact. So it's a preview, but it's not exactly, those things will all become available once we approve your listing and it gets published out there. So if you're ready, go ahead and click next if everything looks good. And then right here, we've got the optional ability to upgrade your listing. Now, the tiny house marketplace is completely free, so we can just go ahead and click continue and take our free listing. There's some small limitations, like there's a 10 picture limitation and your video won't show up if you have one, but you can list your house completely for free. I will go into the benefits in more detail later on in another video as to what you get with Premium, Featured, and Pro. But for now, we're just gonna go ahead and select the free video. Okay, and now our video has been, our listing has been submitted for moderator review. So that's us. We have a team that looks at these, and you can see here this says here the message is your listing has been submitted and is awaiting moderator approval. So we go through and we try to weed out anything that looks a little spammy or scammy. We do our best to make the marketplace. We can't obviously control everything, but we do our best to make it look and work well for all of our users. And so that means that we don't want people putting spammy things out there, and we definitely want to try to do our best to identify scammers. Again, there are people that can create a listing that looks very legitimate that will that you would not know until you start interacting with them if they are a scammer. So we can't identify every one of them, but we do our best. So once your listing has been submitted, we review these normally within 24 hours. We have people checking it all the time. And so you can look for that in the next 24 hours. It should show up on the Tiny House Marketplace. And so that's it. It's a pretty straightforward process. Thanks a lot.